Peace and blessings to all kings and queens. You hear the title. Somebody made it out the hood. So without further ado, this is just for purpose use, educational purpose only. I do not own the rights to this video. So please understand this is just for education. Somebody made it out the hood and changed their life around after certain ups and downs happen in their life. So without further ado,
Now, if you have not seen some of the headlines regarding the 11th Amendment to the Belize Constitution, that is why we are here today, because it is a bill targeting the former bad boy MC Shine, who just so happens to be one of the most powerful politicians in the Belizean government. So what in the hell is going on? Well, that fateful nightclub shooting on December 27, 1999 that we all remember is now coming back full circle today in 2021, and of all places in Belize. But how and why now? Well, we're going to break it all down from Belize to Brooklyn and then back to Belize. This is a very special edition of Revolt Black News. Let's get into it. Born Jamal Michael Barrow in the Caribbean country of Belize, Shine's family moved to Brooklyn at the age of 8, where he immediately took up rapping. Years later, in 1998, a year after the tragic death of the notorious B.I.G., Sean Love Combs' label Bad Boy Records signed Shine, who many viewed as Combs.
Man, Pizza Hut packs so much meat in their meat lovers pizza. 6 meats, over a pound of meat and cheese. This thing's a monster. Grab a $12.99 meat lovers pizza by July 31st before it's gone. No one outpizzas the Hut.
Protege.
have no right to this video.
Bad Boy is, one of the most iconic record labels ever. And I'm certainly happy to have made my contribution at a very defining moment in Bad Boy when I used to go to Puff and I used to, rap my songs for him. And he would tell me, oh, it's all right. And I would argue with him, what do you mean it's all right? This is the best thing you ever heard. And he would tell me, he said, listen, if you have to argue with me to tell me that it's the best thing I ever heard, then you need to go back to the drawing board, because I want you to present to me the best thing I ever heard, because that means I'm going to make money. That means, we're going to be hot. Bad Boy was the greatest academy, the greatest university of music that, I could have ever went to. I learned so much. I learned to be an entrepreneur. I own my own publishing company. So it was the greatest university, the greatest opportunity, that a musician could have ever had.
Now, as things were looking up for Shine, we know just how quickly things can take a nosedive. On December 27th, 1999, Shine was involved in a nightclub shooting that would change the course of his life. Now, a lot of y'all know the vibes with the court case. It was a long process, and that takes a toll on a man's head.
The height of his career in 1999, that Shine was involved in a New York club shooting, along with rap impresario Sean Combs and then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez.
And I was just praying from the precinct, you understand, to when I got my bail, you understand. Next day I was like, yo, I got to be in the studio, you understand, because it was like that whole year, man, I was just getting my mind right. He was about to shoot the video for Bad Boys and all that, you understand. So I was just praying, like, God, you know where my heart is at. You know how I do. You know I ain't wrong. You understand? So just give me this chance, man. You know what I mean?
In the end, in March 2001, Puff was found not guilty on all charges, and Shine was convicted of first-degree assault, reckless endangerment, and possession of an illegal firearm. He was, however, acquitted of the attempted murder charge. Shine, of course, shared his thoughts on all the injustice.
I was defending myself and my friends, and, I was convicted of a reckless assault, which in Belize, I would have had to pay a $10,000 fine as a first-time offender. The max would have been 2 years. So, we have a problem in the United States of warehousing young black men, criminalizing them. And, I think there are movements for sentence reform and criminal justice reform, but that was a gross injustice, to have to get 10 years as a first-time offender for a reckless assault, when I was really just defending myself.
Now, 10 years is a long time, and the American prison system for many Black Americans can actually become a life sentence in and of itself. But as artists do, they make art, and Shyne found a way to put his pain into the music and managed to record and release his album, Godfather Buried Alive, while still in prison. It sold over 900,000 units and made its way to the 5th spot on the Billboard chart. Shyne was granted early release in 2009, but because he had never become a naturalized U.S. citizen, he was then deported to Belize. But as the story moves to the Caribbean, it doesn't get away from Brooklyn, as we'll see.
You know, my voice and my experience is global. It's not just something that speaks to Belizeans or to people in Brooklyn or Los Angeles, but people in Africa, you know, people in Latin America, people all over the world that are in inner cities, that are disadvantaged, that are overlooked and underprivileged. My story resonates with them. I used to pray that one day I'd be a billionaire so that I could, you know, go back to Belize and transform my nation. So Belize was always very, very important to me. And, you know, nothing that I've ever accomplished is as valuable, as heartwarming, as satisfying to my soul as the things that I do for people in my constituency in Mesopotamia. There's nothing else I'd prefer to do, and that's a very good space to be at in your life.
Now deemed the Honorable Shyne Barrow, Shyne is the leader of the opposition in the Belizean government as a member of the Belize House of Representatives from Mesopotamia.
Well, I think my entire life prepared me for the role that I have now, which is, you know, servant leader. You know, my forefathers, my political ancestors had a mantra of being nation builders, you know, let's build our nation. And that's what it really is about for me. Parliament is similar to the United States Congress and the United States Senate. The only difference is our senators are appointed. So I would be more of a Congress person because we are elected. Through music, I believe we serve. My first album wasn't just, you know, obscene violence. I had an objective, you know, but I had to, you know, introduce myself to my target audience and build a rapport with them. It was always about more than me.
So now is the moment to ask Shyne about the 11th Amendment, which is the whole reason that we are here today. But before I can do that, it is absolutely vital for me to reflect and let everything culminate on what's truly at stake for me, not just as a politician, but as a bad boy legend, as a Black man, as a husband, and also as a father. See, before his deportation and incarceration, Shyne had his ascent as a hip hop artist and as a Black immigrant in American society. And then he had all of that taken away. As a prisoner, he repaid his so-called debt to society for almost 10 years, and then got sent back to his home country of Belize. And now the events of the New York shooting that he served time for are being used against him. So if we're being honest about what's at stake for Shyne, and if he already repaid his so-called debt to society, then the 11th Amendment has the potential to bankrupt his soul. I want to get into the 11th Amendment proposed to the Constitution of Belize. This has been making a lot of news as of late, and the amendment seeks...
I just want to tell everybody out there, this is just for educational purpose only. I don't own the rights to this. I'm just giving out a shout out. Somebody made it out the hood. It explains itself on the page.
To disqualify those who have served a prison sentence following a conviction of a crime from being elected as a member of parliament. You obviously were incarcerated here in America, not Belize, for several years. You know, if that passed, would this apply to you? And do you think that this is an attack by political opponents trying to unseat you?
Yes, you know, it's a very dangerous direction that the PUP government is going in. You know, when you start altering the Constitution to fix a problem that doesn't exist. There is no problem of rehabilitated, reformed, individuals going to the House of Representatives and committing crimes. There is a problem of upper class oligarchs going to the House of Representatives, those with PhDs and law degrees who go there and commit gross crimes of corruption and public breach of trust and steal millions and millions and millions of taxpayers' dollars and thousands of acres of land and just, pillage the public coffers. There's a problem with that when the elections are called. If they don't feel that I'm suitable, if they don't feel that I'm fit, then they won't vote for me. And that's the ultimate check and balance. United States, a criminal record doesn't prevent you from being a congressperson or the president of the United States. The only person that could stop you are the people that are going to go out and vote. So this is very dangerous to weaponize.
Now, like I said before, this is just for educational purpose only. I don't own the rights to this video. I'm just giving out a shout out, and you know the title of the name. Somebody made it out the hood.
The Constitution to target the leader of the opposition. It's really no different than in other countries where you see they jail and arrest the leaders of the oppositions or political opponents. I've gone the last 23 years without any arrests, any convictions, and I've completely turned my life around. That should be an inspiration to those people in marginalized, disadvantaged communities that they too can turn their lives around. So really, I should be held up by both political parties to say, this is what you guys should do. Stop killing each other, go to school, turn your lives around, and one day you could be the leader of the opposition.
And even heavy hitters like Rap A Lot Records CEO Jay Prince tapped in for their support of the homie Sean.
Ready to launch your Google ad? You can review your ads with a specialist who will make sure that you're set up for success.
Like I said, this is for educational purpose only. I'm giving out the shout out, and you know the title to the name. Somebody made it out the hood now.
Belize is a place that I love dearly. I love it so much until I actually own a few islands out in Belize. This politic game is one of the dirtiest games, man, I ever witnessed. And I hope that those in Belize, the youth, and those that have good thinking ability would unite with Shine and stand against these politicians, man, these politics that want to stop brothers from having definitely meaningful brothers like Shine from making a difference in saving lives that I know need to be saved out there in Belize.
But it's not just Jay Prince.
Diddy and Fat Joe and Khaled, and there's a lot of people that reach out. Killer Mike, a Congresswoman, Maxine Waters. There's a lot of people that see the evolution, see the transition, see the transformation, and they love it. This is Black excellence, the epitome of Black excellence. This is what, I believe maybe Tupac would be doing right now. We've always had.
Once again, this is for educational purpose only. I do not own the rights to this video. Have a blissful night. We having a good night.
Leaders in the hip hop community that wanted better, for the societies that consumed our music. And so I'm not doing anything different than what Jay-Z did in 4444, where he's saying, instead of buying a Patek Philippe, why don't you buy a bunch of buildings? Why don't you, buy the entire community? And so I'm doing the same thing. I'm an example, not just for the people here in Belize, but, for the people all around the world that look like you and I, and even the people that don't, that are concerned with disadvantaged and underprivileged people.
And while celebrity perspective is important, it always comes back to the citizens. So Revolt actually got the chance to speak with the citizens of Belize this week, who shared their thoughts on the 11th Amendment as well. Here's what they had to say.
As a nation, Belize has more pressing matters to attend to. I do think there are many things that Shine Bauer can do as a leader of the opposition, but I do think the one main thing we expect from him as a nation is to always keep the current government in place and is to always bring back the voice to the people.
I do believe in redemption, like a person has a chance to redeem themselves. My hopes for the future is to take Belize from a developing country to a developed country.
My hopes for the future are that there are more opportunities for the youth, that we the youth are given the chance to be leaders and have a voice, and most importantly, that we stand up for our rights and fight for what we believe in.
There is not enough support for youth that get into gangs or drugs here. Once they get into a gang, they don't get out of it. The things that Shine Bauer could do to improve the lives of Belize is put Belizeans first.
If they're clearly making a change and trying to turn a new leaf, I don't think it should affect their lives in their late 20s, no. If you really want to be a leader, I think you need to have a clear heart and a clear mind, and that you need to make your own path. Don't follow in the path of the previous government.
It would be extremely wrong of me to say that the 11th Amendment is of importance when we have many other issues that need to be tackled. If I had one message to Shine Bauer, I would say to stand strong in what you believe in and always remember to be humble and don't forget where you came from.
I'm not in the business of defending Mr. Bauer at all. He is not the concern here. The concern here is that this law tells people that if you've ever made a mistake in life, it excludes you from running for the highest office or institution in the country. That is problematic. What are my thoughts on Robert Turn politician? Anything is possible. He needs to do what he was elected to do, which was to serve the people of Belize and make the people of Belize make our lives better. I think we are one of the most blessed countries in the world, but I think we have a lot of work to do.
After you were sworn in, you sent out a tweet mentioning the disenfranchised, overlooked, and underprivileged, 3 words that Black people here in America know all too well. So with those 3 words in mind, what is the plan for the organization that you are now head figure of, the opposition?
The United Democratic Party has always been the pro-poor party. You know, we've always subscribed to human development and, social aid and education. Education is so important. Education should be free. You know, we're spending tens of millions of dollars on infrastructure, building roads and highways. And I don't say that we don't need that, but we need human infrastructure. So every time I go to the House of Representatives, I'm always fighting, for relief, for social relief. I'm fighting for education. It shouldn't be about education assistance. Education needs to be free. If we don't do anything, we need to make education free, because if people get educated, they'll be better human beings. They'll be better able to take care of themselves and be less of a burden on the government, less of a burden on the taxpayers. We want to see, a Belize where people aren't getting elected to serve themselves, but again, to aid in the development of the nation. It can't be about a person's self-interest to enrich themselves. It has to be to enrich our society. So we're taking the steps to reform our party as we speak, to ensure that our leaders understand, what the end game is, and the end game is human development.
So as we keep our eyes on Shine's situation, what's your message to people on getting engaged in the things that are going on in the political system, either in Belize or here in the States?
Once again, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. This is for educational purpose only. I don't own the rights to this. Just having a beautiful night, showing some education, and peace and love.
My advice, man, is to take a stand. beginning with the youth. Let's bring the numbers together. Let's take a stand, and because you have a voice. So many people don't use the power where their voice is concerned, and they sit back and point fingers at everything that takes place. But when opportunity presents itself to take a stand, such as the support of Shine, they sit down. So take a stand, around the world, and we're watching this thing over in the U.S. because we understand that globally, it's like 6.5 a dozen. Not that far apart.
All right, man, you heard it. Listen, Shine's fight is all of our fight.
Well, you already know what it is. Peace and blessings. Thank the man upstairs. Good vibes, good energy. Thank you for watching. Sunday afternoon, we have Q&A. And after the Q&A, we're going to have a movie night. So be prepared. Sunday afternoon, we're going to have Q&A. And we will have a movie night after the Q&A. So peace and blessings to all the kings and queens that are watching out here. Have a nice night and have a blissful night. Everybody be safe. Peace.